For the select few of you that understand the true majesty of the Lifetime Movie Network and the absolute beauty that that weird subgenre of made-for-television movies brings audiences year-round, you probably think Lifetime is the only place to get your Lifetime movie fix. But what if I told you that a new challenger has entered the fray? If you want to get that weird, trashy, awful, beautiful taste of Lifetime movie style in your mouth right now, you can go on to Netflix.
Russell? That's the happy couple right there.
You're under my skin.
If that's Russell, who's that?
What did you do to my husband?
This was no accident.
All I have ever wanted is for you to love me.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Some of you probably have seen in the past, I did a video about Lifetime movies and how much I love them, how crazy they are, how ridiculous they are, and how they're like the best kind of comfort food for a person like me who loves garbage. Love it. Love trash. I previously had a subscription to the Lifetime Movie Club. Like it, did some good stuff. I don't think they cycle the titles out enough. I don't think they have quite enough movies on the service at any given time to satisfy my personal kind of craving. However, two of my friends each separately hipped me to two straight-to-Netflix movies that tickle a similar itch, and I watched both of them, and today I'm going to talk to you about both of them. One of them is fantastic. It's actually, like, amazing in how bad it is. It's, like, beautiful. And the other one is so offensively stupid that I love it anyway, but it's not good. It's real bad. We're going to talk about two movies today, and those two movies are Secret Obsession, and the other one is called Swiped. Now, these are not pure, actual, canonical Lifetime movies because they weren't made for the Lifetime network. They were made for Netflix, and being made for Netflix has somehow become even more trashy than Lifetime now. Netflix movies are either giant, mega-budgeted, auteur-driven projects like Martin Scorsese's upcoming The Irishman, or it's just trash. It's just random, slutty trash starring Noah Centineo or the cast of Riverdale. Those are the core people that end up in these movies. I didn't make the rules, but that's how it is. The thing you gotta understand, actually, is that these two movies cater to my two favorite parts of the way Lifetime movies go. One is like a creepy, like, sex murder movie, and the other one is like a I'm afraid of technology, but also a sex movie. And those are like my two favorite parts, is like, oh no, there's a guy I can't trust, he's gonna kill me, and oh no, phones, ah! It's like that Black Mirror shit. Oh, I love it. So, first up, we're gonna talk about Secret Obsession. Okay, so, about a week ago, my boy Cody was like, yo, have you seen the trailer for this weird Netflix movie that looks like a Lifetime movie? And I was like, no, I haven't, because if I had, I would have watched it already. Let's talk about it. He showed me the trailer, and the trailer is... I would not watch the trailer if I were you, if only because the trailer just gives away the entire movie. I'm going to give away the entire movie too, but like, you have to kind of see this stuff for yourself. The spoilers that are coming aren't going to matter. There's no way I can ruin this movie for you because, trust me, it comes pre-ruined. So, Secret Obsession, from the trailer that we watched, it's like, oh look, it's about this woman. She's in a car accident. She doesn't remember who she is. She has amnesia. And you guys know amnesia is one of the best tropes for these kinds of movies, okay? There's this woman, and she has amnesia, and her husband comes to, like, take care of her and help her get her memory back. And it's clear that someone, like, attacked her or something, that this car crash wasn't, like, an accident. There's a detective played by Dennis Haysbert who's trying to figure out what's going on because he doesn't think it's an accident. And the husband's trying to help his wife get her memory back and figure things out and stuff. The husband is played by Mike Vogel, who was in Cloverfield, and basically looks kind of like KJ Appa's, like, older brother. Like, he looks like Logan Marshall Green did for Ben McKenzie on the OC, like, if that like Punnett Square kind of makes sense to you. The girl, the woman, the lady, the wife is played by Brenda Song, who I haven't seen in that many things, but I always remember her burning stuff in a trash can at the Social Network. Anyway, Dennis Haysbert's whole deal as a detective is really great because he's obsessed with, like, weird cases, because years ago his daughter went missing and he never found her. And the way this movie tells us that Dennis Haysbert's daughter went missing and he never found her is that he goes back to his home and has a closet full of birthday presents, like, for his daughter that's, like, probably dead, and he puts these birthday gifts in there, and, like, as he's putting because, like, for her, but she's gone, as he's putting them in there, he, like, voiceover from his past is, like, just playing so we know what his deal is.
I mean, I'm gonna be a daddy? I hope we'll always be together. Together. And, like, you hear his wife
who I presume to be his wife, just saying. You hear his wife say, "You're a cop. How come you can't find your missing daughter?" Like, it's the most, like, on the nose. Like, okay, yeah. Obviously, if you did a story about a police officer who, like, specialized in solving cases and his daughter went missing and couldn't find her, that would be, like, ironically painful for him. But to have his wife just literally say it, it's like, what the fuck? In flashback form, no less. So that's him, and his bosses are like, "Why are you focusing on this case? The girl was just in an accident. She'll get her memory back. What's the big deal? It's not going to bring your daughter back." And his lieutenant doesn't even talk like that. It's funny. So he's obsessed. He's like dogging on the case. He's going to be like a big fixture in the movie. And then the other guy, Russell, the husband, he's like a super nice guy, seeming anyway. I say he's a nice guy seeming because he's got glasses and just enough beard so that you know he has facial hair, and he's white and handsome. So, like... and he, like, knows her favorite breakfast and stuff. So he's either, like, a genuinely nice guy or a murderer. I mean, those are the only two options in Lifetime world. And this film does play by Lifetime morality rule standards.
You don't remember me, do you?
I don't even know your name.
So your boy Russell is trying to get Jennifer to understand, like, I'm your husband. I've always been here for you. And don't worry, we're going to get through this together and stuff. But, like, the trailer for the movie gives away the fact that, you know, something's up with this guy. So, like, having seen the trailer, I went in knowing he's probably, like, not really who he says he is. Like, that's... the movie doesn't really try to, like, twist you with that later. It kind of lets you know from jump something's not right with this dude, because every question she asks about trying to get her memory back is also, like, a question that would require other people to be involved in some way. And every time a question is asked that requires, like, another person to be involved, his response always shuts that off. So it's like, you know he's up to something. So it's like, "Did you tell my parents I'm okay?" "Oh, no, babe, your parents died in a fire years ago. You don't remember?" "Did you tell my friends?" "Oh, I told your one friend whose name I remember, and they're in Hawaii. When they get back, they'll come over and we'll have dinner." Like, "Where's my phone?" "Your phone's broken. I'll buy you a new phone." "I don't have service." "Yeah, we're in the mountains. We moved to this cabin in the mountains years ago when we got married because we're going to start a family where no one's around and there's no internet. Isn't that crazy how that happened?" And he just gets more and more creepy and weird and, like, literally crescendoing when, like, they finally are about to have sex for the first time and she's not ready yet because, hey, as far as she knows, she doesn't fucking know this guy. And he, like, goes full-on Lifetime husband.
Who's gonna believe you?
And now we're like, all right, dude, something's up. She's got to figure it out now. Now it's the part of the movie where she knows this dude's up to something. So she starts trying to, like, piece things together. Meanwhile, Dennis Haysbert is going all over the place trying to figure it out, trying to figure out how this happened, who's responsible and stuff. And, like, every piece of the story is that the guy gave them fake numbers. He gave them a fake address. The hospital has not been able to get in touch with Jennifer about, you know, her follow-up physical therapy appointments. There's another, like, sketchy guy that we see earlier who we assume is the killer, but then we see Russell go and choke that guy out. So it wasn't him. What was that about? Everything about it is like red herrings, red herrings, red herrings. And then Dennis Haysbert figures out finally the big twist about this guy. He killed her husband, and he killed her parents, and presumably other people. And he's just a guy who worked in her office for years and was in love with her. This motherfucker is on some Jim Halpert shit because he was crushing on this girl forever. He knew everything about her, especially how she liked breakfast and stuff. Because, like, I mean, the film is odd in that it posits that knowing those things is like creepy, like out of context. Like, if your husband knows what you like for breakfast, it's cool. If the guy at the desk across keeps track of that, he's a weirdo. And he is. And he knew everything about her and loved her, but she never gave him the time of day. And then some motherfucker came in one day, and her actual husband was kind of like Bobby Roode, the wrestler, but when he has no facial hair. It's like fresh-faced Bobby Roode, which actually makes him look kind of like John Morrison. Anyway, they got married and ran away together, and he was so mad. Like, I've been macking on this girl for years, and she didn't want to fuck. And then she married this other guy. Now I gotta kill him and everyone she knows. But the crazy part about this, though, is that his plan, like the way the movie goes out, was not his plan. His plan was just to kill everyone and then kidnap her probably, and then most likely end up killing her too. Like, he even acknowledges in the climactic moments that he was probably just going to rape her and kill her and move on. I don't know how he would have moved on from that. That's weird. That's all weird. But that was his actual plan, okay? Which is weird because, like, why'd you have to kill her husband? And, well, I get why the husband had to die, but her parents that don't even, like, live near her anymore? That's weird. That's excessive. I guess he was just thinking up plot contrivances for later? I don't know. But when she had amnesia from the accident, because, like, she runs away and stuff and, like, gets hit by, like, runs into a car, that was when he was like, oh, I can just pretend I get another chance. Like, now I can start from scratch. You know what I mean? Like, I already love her. I already know all the stuff about her. And now that her husband's not around, she'll definitely fall for me. But she doesn't. Because he's a fucking creep and a weirdo. And fucking creeps and weirdos are creeps and weirdos even in a vacuum. Those guys are always weird. You can smell them. So, yeah, from there, Dennis Haysbert comes and sorts it all out and figures everything out. And, like, they fight and stuff. And there's, like, this one really weird sequence. Like, the generally Lifetime-style movies have these evil guys as, like, the antagonists. But there's like a couple of moves they have. This guy has like this extra layer of like creepy sincerity that makes him even grosser. And then the moments where he has to show force and like show that he's actually malicious are even creepier. It's not like he just hits her or like grabs her arm and stuff. It's like there's a scene where he's like interrogating her about trying to figure out how much about him she knows and has figured out. And she hurt her foot at some point in the story. So he basically has her and like a midway point between like a tender foot massage and Kurt Angle's ankle lock at the same time. And it's really painful to look at and gross and weird that he's like acting and talking like he's a sweet husband, like helping with her foot, but he's got the Kurt Angle grip on. And you're like, yo, this guy is like too much. This is fucking awful. So you're really stoked when like she gets away and he gets killed and stuff and everything turns out normal because it's a movie and that's how movies end. But my big thing about this movie is it fires on all cylinders the whole time, from jump, and then when the ending happens, it's just like a regular ending. Like, Dennis Haysbert solves the case, decides to retire, move away, start dating divorcees. Jennifer decides to, like, I don't know, start her life over because everyone she knows is dead now, and that's it. And then there's, like, a shot of, like, a car driving and, like, a helicopter angle and stuff, and I was like, okay. It was a little disappointing. It was really, really tight up until the ending. Like, I actually rated this on Letterboxd, and I gave it 4.5 stars. If you know me and you follow me on Letterboxd, you know that I don't actually rate movies ever. I think I've logged like 2,000 movies. I've actually rated like less than 10 of them, and a lot of my ratings are just like asshole ironic ratings, except the one for Lemonade. That one's legit. To me, this movie was almost the perfect trash. Like, you're always seeking out the ideal trashy movie, and you can never quite find it, and that's always kind of shitty. But this one came really close. Everything about it was like perfectly trash, except the ending, which is just like a regular movie ending. And I truly believe this was a real, official, canonical Lifetime joint. They would have stuck the landing. They would have thrown in some crazy stuff at the end, like Dennis Haysbert was actually that guy's father or something. Like, they would have gone for the distance, you know what I mean? So, Secret Obsession, still fire. Still probably the first thing you're going to see on Netflix when you log in this week. Check it out. Actually watch it. Forgive the ending. They tried their best. Yeah.
So a dating app.
Not a dating app. Hookups.
And we actually are expected to be valued at around, I don't know, 250 million.
And now, the other movie, Swiped. Okay, so me actually being aware of the movie Swiped and choosing to watch it, I have to give big ups to my man, Cam Diordio, the writer of the new Charlie's Angels Bionic Woman crossover coming from Dynamite Entertainment. Buy that shit. And Cam also shares the same kind of love of these trash movies that I do. And so anytime we check out a new one, we'll let each other know about it and stuff. And he hit me about Swiped. And I had vaguely seen like the cover at one point on Netflix and was considering watching it, but not because I thought it was going to be a Lifetime style movie. I was going to watch it because Noah Centineo's in it, and he's a hunk. And I like the idea of a dude who looks like a young Superman but sounds like Mark Ruffalo. That's something I'll watch. I'll watch him do anything. He's entertaining. And but it didn't seem like it was going to be like, you know, like God tier Noah or anything. I figured I'll check it out at some point. But then Cam told me what the movie was actually about, and I had to watch it. And now so do you guys. Swiped. As you can tell from the title, it is probably going to be about a hookup app, right? But it is so much more. It is so much more. The thing about Swiped is that it starts off kind of like it's going to be a shitty version of The Social Network, because it's about a bunch of college dudes getting together to design an app that takes over the country, Social Network style. But the app is not Facebook. The app is called Jungle. It is not, as I previously assumed, named after the Drake song. It is in fact named after the concept of mating and finding people in the jungle of society. It's actually dumber. The basic characters are this dude who's like this nerd. I don't remember the actor's name, the character's name, doesn't matter. There's like this nerdy guy who is roommates with Noah Centineo's character, and Noah is like a fuckboy jock guy. He's like cool and popular, fucks all the girls and does whatever he wants. And he has a similarly dim-witted blonde friend who fucks slightly less girls than him, so he's like lower in the totem pole. And there's like another friend who's like nearly the level of nerdy that the other nerdy guy is, but he's different. So it's like 4 dudes all together. And these guys are all taking like this programming class together. It's really hard, and the only person who's any good at the class is the smart nerdy kid. But he like doesn't get laid and stuff, and doesn't care about girls. He just cares about trying to get an MIT or whatever. And they all they don't blackmail him. They sort of like coerce him into agreeing to code a hookup app they want to design, because in their mind, hookup apps aren't like simple and Cro-Magnon enough. They need one that's like actually like the bottom barrel, bog standard version of what women think of men's opinions of dating apps are. Basically, this part of the movie was very confusing to me because I didn't know much about the movie. I thought it was strange that it was a story about guys designing a hookup app, but it's like in a world where Tinder and like other things don't exist. It's not like they're like, in this world there is Tinder and there's like OkCupid, all these different sites, and Jungle will be different from them in this way. It basically refuses to acknowledge those. It's like one of those movies about tech where everyone has like really out-of-date cell phones, and like when they show UI on screen it looks shitty and old. It's like one of those, and I'll explain why soon. But the thing about Jungle is they want something that is like as easy as humanly possible. And what Jungle ends up being is an app where if you're a woman, you have a profile and you just post like a picture of yourself in lingerie. You have to post a picture of yourself in lingerie. And then you ask like questions, there's like some kind of algorithm or whatever, and then it posts, and then you get swipes from guys, and if a guy swipes yes on you and you agree, you have to go to his apartment and have sex with him. You don't go on a date, you don't meet, you don't chat back and forth. You literally like are given his address and you go to it, and on the way the terms and services tell you like you can't refer to this as a date. There's going to be no money exchange. You can't buy, he's not going to buy you lunch or dinner or anything. You're just going to go over and fuck, basically. And this app ends up taking over the country, basically. Everyone starts using it, and these guys become like, you know, college gods, basically. And it's weird because for the app to work, women have to want to use it. And when it shows the other women that go to the school using it, they're all super into it. Like, no one is like, oh, that's a shitty way for an app to work. Not a single person. Well, there's one person who doesn't like it, and that character is sort of the girl version of the nerdy guy protagonist, right? There's a girl he likes. I think her name was Hannah, and she's presented as being like sort of the pure, smart girl who like doesn't have sexual urges or something ever, and like she's hiding something from her past, and like yada yada yada. And that girl objects, but every other girl is like, "You're just dumb. We're gonna show our titties and get fucked," because like that's how all the women in this movie are written. And so about a third of the way in, as this stuff starts happening, I'm like, this is really weird. The movie is like obviously kind of the movie has like sort of a weird relationship with the way it views technology and sex and men and women and stuff. But I went in thinking it was like a dumb guy movie. But even a dumb guy movie wouldn't like have an app like that. App would never work in real life, right? Like it's an unreasonable. It doesn't make any sense. Then I figured out that this movie was written by a woman, written and directed by a woman, and that this woman has some really fucked up ideas about other women. I was clued into this when the movie gets into its weird second act, where it fully transforms into a Lifetime movie. Because throughout the first third of the story, we're taught all this stuff about like the parents of the characters in the movie, and you're like, who cares? Oh my god. And I thought maybe they're just making a minor observation about how the way your parents are in relationships affects the way you are in relationships. Noah Centineo character, the reason he doesn't interact with women very well is because his father just like blows through foreign women like they're nothing every other week or whatever after he's gotten divorced. So like, oh, okay, he learned that behavior from his father. I get it. I thought that's why the parents are there. That is not why the parents are there. The parents are there because it's very clear that the person that made this movie identifies more with the adult boomer characters than the actual teens and college kids. And you'll see why as the story progresses, because one of the people that ends up basically like usurping the whole movie is the sad mom of the nerdy guy. His parents are divorced, and his mother doesn't know how to move on. So on like a holiday visit, they go, like the nerdy kid goes to see his sister and his whole family, and like all of the adults are talking about the Jungle app because it's become like a phenomenon. And his mother and her friends start using it, and they're explaining to her how it works, but they don't fully understand how it works because they're boomers. And as a result, she thinks it's just a regular dating app, and like doesn't get the fact that like if a guy swipes on her, she's got to go like blow him or whatever. So her son, who is like no one knows that he's the one that designed the app. He's like pretending not to because he's like a good person or whatever. And he tries to stop his mom from like getting like hookup laid or whatever. It gets in like a lot of weird murky territory here in the middle. But it's so funny because through these scenes, the actual opinion of the filmmaker like becomes obvious. Like at first, because you're only following these young people, you think it's just about hookup culture and like the way young people relate to stuff. But then you're like, oh man, this is probably like a mom who got divorced and like her husband like, you know, started like using apps, and she doesn't know what those apps are, how they work. So this is how she thinks they work. She thinks that her husband just opened up his phone one day, and then every young woman ever was wearing lingerie, and he hit a button and then fucked all of them at the same time. Like that's how she thinks. Like that's the. I am not making this like assumption about her or this filmmaker like in a cruel way, or it's probably not really what happened in her real life. I don't know her. I'm just saying that like the energy that this film gives off is very heavy, angry, divorcee, minion memes energy. Okay, like this is definitely like an Aunt Deborah situation. All right, like a Karen made this movie, and I don't care what anybody says. And that becomes more obvious as the film's moralizing kind of comes into it. Like, it gets worse and worse, and eventually the nerdy kid takes offline not only Jungle, but all hookup apps. Like, he's such a genius that he's able to hack, presumably, like, Tinder and Bumble and Grindr and everything else and, like, shut them all off. And then he designs a new version of Jungle for all the girls that go to the school who are all victimized by Jungle. That's, like, he basically designs Bumble, actually, is basically what he does. And like works with them and stuff, and the girls all like him and think he's a great guy. And then they find out that he actually worked on the original Jungle, and they get mad at him, but they get unmad at him. And like the girl that he's crazy about like ends up admitting that the reason she's weird in front of people is because she used to have a stutter, which is just thrown in there randomly. And then her whole thing is like, I don't think an app is what's going to solve dating and relationships in this society, because all the girls are getting together and talking to him about how they want the new app to go. And they're all like, we've never been on a date. None of us. We only just hook up. None of us has ever been on a real date. He's in a room with like 30 fucking women. I'm not saying that modern dating culture has like degraded and stuff. Obviously it has, but like the idea that like none of them have ever been out for like coffee or like to a movie or something is just like absurd. And that's the problem with the movie. These things aren't made absurd for like humorous reasons. They're not exaggerated to like, you know, really sell the themes. They're exaggerated because they're told and made by a person who has no fucking idea what young people do or what they're like. It's weird. It is really weird to watch a movie like this, and then halfway through you realize, oh no, a boomer made this. And then every other sequence is someone talking about how you need to get off that phone and go out and have a real relationship with people, when we all know boomers are on their phones all the fucking time. It just keeps getting worse because it's also very clear that like the woman that wrote and made this really judges all the women for actively participating in this culture. It's not really treated like, man, these guys and their shitty fathers who didn't show them what it takes to be a man, and like the media and mainstream culture and the different things that reinforce patriarchy, like that's why these guys are the way they are, that's why they don't want to give what they need to give and stuff. It's not that. It's like, well, these guys are just guys, and that's kind of how they are. But all these women that got on Jungle and showed their titties, they're fucking whores. And if they weren't whores, these guys wouldn't be doing this. And if they only went out, it's like, I don't know if you guys watch like wrestling, but like Lacey Evans, like the mean mom like lady who's like from the military and like is always pat herself with like handkerchiefs and calls all women nasties. It's like she made a movie. Okay, that's actually what it feels like. You're just like, oh, this is not right. I don't want to watch this movie anymore. I'm uncomfortable. It is a fucking mess. And the scariest part about it is when the story's all said and done, all the guys basically like just stop using the apps and go back to being nice guys. Like it ends with Noah Centineo actually asking a girl on a real date, and it implies that now that he can just pull his phone out and swipe, fuck, he's gonna be a good person. And that is a gross fucking reduction of the way the world actually works. It is literally a story that blames all phone apps for the reason that people have difficulty dating, and there's a lot more nuance there, and I wish this is a movie that actually had some room for it, but it's a trash movie, and I love trash, and you have to see this shit for yourself. Some of the ridiculous things people say and do, more than anything else. The last thing I want to say about the movie is, I can't believe a grown fucking woman made this movie, and that, like, one of the biggest arguments about why it's terrible that there aren't more females who direct movies is that movies should have more than just like typical 30 to 40-year-old white dude opinions and perspectives on things, right? The majority of people that make movies or that are directors are like, you know, like late 30s, early 40s, 50s white dudes, like almost without exception. And that's, you know, it's not good that that is like the only perspective that mainstream film tends to be giving to audiences, right? Because then people are just regurgitating that one viewpoint and they're not having a more prismatic view of the way the world actually works. It's really sad to me that we got a lady directing a movie, and it's this movie, and that this movie is so fucked up and has such a low opinion of young women, and in fact seems to hate them with a passion. Like I never thought I'd see the day where I watch a movie directed by a Karen who seems to be like a secret member of Thought Patrol. Like, this woman clearly hates other women and young women and thinks they're sluts and that they all deserve what they get. And that is a sad thing to see in a movie like this on Netflix that is clearly aping the Lifetime movie style. That's just one man's opinion. But that's it, yeah. You guys gotta see Secret Obsession, like I said, way bomb until the ending, and, you know, still pretty good. And then Swiped, an abomination throughout, but has to be seen to be believed. What a fucking piece of shit. So yeah, guys, that's the thing. I think now that Netflix has money to be throwing at movies and stuff, they're not going to be making really good movies. If they're going to churn out quick, relatively cheap movies with pretty people in them, you can do a lot worse than rip off Lifetime. So they're onto something, I think. Keep your eyes peeled for more of that. Thanks for watching. If you guys liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, you can hit thumbs down. I respect constructive criticism. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you have subscribed, hit the little bell icon so you get notifications of when other videos are coming out. Thank you guys so much. Have a good day, and watch out for men who pretend they used to be married to you if you have amnesia. Bye!